Welcome back to the show today. We've got kind of a crowd that's gathered over here. We want to say hi to all you guys out there watching out here. But this next segment is one that I'm really looking forward to. We don't always get to hear directly from our end user community, especially when it comes to things like immersive experiences. So wanted to dive right in and introduce our next guest, and that's Rainey Fu over at Spotify. Rainey, thanks so much for coming on.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
You know, Rainey, like I said, we love hearing voices from our user community. So if you would just introduce yourself a little bit and talk about how you kind of have gotten into the role that you're in.
Yeah, for sure. So I started my career and background in brand content when I was like 14. It was a very young age, but I remember I was seeing what it was on screen in Times Square and billboards, and I know that one day I would love to create a billboard for commercials that's right where everyone gets to see a big piece of what I'm doing. And from then on, I slowly worked towards having being in the events company in Singapore. That's where I'm from, and the events company was working a lot on Shanghai and Beijing, Singapore events. And during then, it was such a huge market in this industry, and that's how I got into like motion graphics and broadcast design back in Savannah College of Art and Design. That's where I started from, and merging both of them, events background together, broadcast design, has gotten me to where I am right now. And very happy to say I'm at Spotify at this moment, and I've been doing a lot of that.
That's exciting. So. We're all familiar with that company, I think. So what would you tell somebody who wants to enter into this field? It sounds like you got here through various paths or so, but like, what would you tell somebody who's interested in this?
Right, yeah. So one thing that you can work towards getting into this field is really focusing on what you're looking for as your goal, and getting all the opportunities that come your way, and be able to work on the fly, and also having that production mentality of teamwork is very important. So one thing my mom always tell me, you are not a noun, you're a verb. You are not a founder or an entrepreneur, you're a maker. You're a person that does things. So if you come in with the mindset of creating and helping people around you, be in a team, I think that's what this business is all about. Like, the people is a people business, and if everyone loves working with you, you will get more of that coming towards you, and slowly you craft your way into this field and into events, and that's how I got into where I am.
That's awesome.
Rainey, you've had a chance to work on a number of different amazing projects, but one project that stands out really above a lot of them is a recent Spotify House installation that you did. Talk to us a little bit about how your thought process from just the inception of the project all the way to the execution happened.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love to talk about that. So that happens just last week, where Spotify House is an event space that we bought in Nashville for a 4-day events in conjunction with Country Music Festival. So last week was our 50th anniversary for Country Music Festival, and Spotify House was always one of the biggest activation and events that we give to fans that are big in country. And for me to get into that, to be the campaign art director of it, it was such a big blessing too, because of my background in motion graphics and events. So I'm always focusing and specializing in events in my team. And that helps me to craft this idea of creating a neon city, a neon theme for this Spotify House, because that merges between the traditional country music as well as the modern country music. So you're creating that kind of like nightlife vibrancy of modern, but also having that background of honky-tonk bars. And I don't know whether everybody here is like a big country music fan, but we also invited a ton of 40 different artists, 70 different artists, including Reba McEntire, Diplo, Sam Hunt, Kelsey Ballerini. So they're all at an event last week where I was the art director for that campaign.
That's very impressive, and I like a lot of those artists that you named. I can get down with a little country myself. I don't know.
I need to crack out my cowboy hat right now.
Some boots with the fur, because it almost sounds like one of those artists is there too. So those type of in-person experiences. Those brand experiences don't have to be limited just to in-person, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say is key to creating an effective digital brand experience? Not, it doesn't just have to be in person, but also, digitally speaking.
Right. Digital. So Spotify, first of all, is a digital first brand as well. So it helped me to craft out this experience that I have right now. And one big thing about digital first experience is you have to be aware of the target that you're going for. And that includes like going on TikTok, for example, which I know it sounds very foreign to me too. I know to a lot of people here with me that TikTok is such a new Gen Z thing that people do. But also I always believe in personal opinion is not a business strategy. So we constantly do that, having that fans first or consumers first experience is very crucial. And also the other point is consumers and creators are it's such a merging of the two different and blurring the lines of both aspects of it. So it's very important to create, say, an event or a digital first where you engage the audience and the consumers into your event or your experience. So that goes into, say, Wrapped that we did last year, end of last year. So Wrapped is always a big party that we throw to fans every single year to show their data that's on platform. But at the same time, for what we did for Wrapped last year, we had an experience where people come in to play with us instead of just throwing out an event where they look around and be in it, but they're part of integrating and experiencing it as well. So that's a very big part of digital first.
That's awesome.
Well, Rennie, last question. You mentioned when you were younger being inspired by technology in Times Square. A lot of those technologies originated for the first time and were revealed here at InfoComm. What are some of the technologies that you're seeing today that you're hoping to inspire people to do what you're doing?
Right, absolutely. Another big part of my childhood too is esports. So knowing that esports live here at InfoComm is such a big part of this year's focus, it's mind-blowing to me because I grew up playing Dota, League of Legends, Overwatch, and in Asia it's big, and then now that it comes to this part, and I'm so amazed and just mind blown by the technology that comes with that. And also the other part, because I'm always a visual aesthetic person, art direction is my thing, right? So seeing how big and how much technology has changed from back, Times Square era when I was 7 years old to what I am seeing, all the big screens right here is just the pixel sharp technology and devices is just spectacular to me.
Well, Randy, we appreciate you coming on the show today. We always love hearing voices from users in the community, especially someone like you who's got so much influence in creative design. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Enjoy the show.